Brothers and sisters in Islam, inshallah, today's topic is about husn al-dhann billah. Husn al-dhann billah. And that means expecting good things from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thinking good of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam said in a hadith Qudsi, a divine hadith, Allah says, I am as my servant expect of me. I am as my servant expect of me, believes of me, thinks of me. So if you expect from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala good things, you will get good things. If you expect from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bad things, you will get bad things. So it's in your hands to control. The hadith tells us it's in your hand what to expect from Allah. And the key thing before expecting anything from Allah is to have certainty that Allah has the power to do anything. Before you believe good in Allah, you have to believe that Allah has the power to do anything. There is nothing that you say, I don't know if Allah can do that. I don't know if I don't deserve it or whatever. Anything you should expect that Allah can do. Then you have to expect good things from Allah. And we can see that in what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran. وَإِنْ يَمْسَسْكَ اللَّهُ بِضُرٍّ فَلَا كَاشِفَ لَهُ إِلَّا هُوَ وَإِنْ يَمْسَسْكَ بِخَيْرٍ فَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. If Allah touches you with harm, if touches you with any difficulty, nobody can remove it except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nobody. And if Allah touches you with some good, Allah is all powerful. He can do that. And look at the selection of words that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put in the Quran. He said, touches you with harm and touches you with good. What Allah is telling us in that verse, that real harm and real good is in the afterlife. Real harm is in hellfire, a'udhu billah. May Allah protect us all from it. And real good is in heaven. May Allah put us all in heaven, inshallah. So he's saying, whatever you see in this life, it's just a touch. Whatever good or bad, it's just a touch. But it's everything in the hand of Allah. And the key thing, expect that Allah is going to treat you well. Don't expect Allah that He's going to treat you bad. That's a part of Iman, a part of being a Muslim. That you believe that Allah is going to do well to you. And in the hadith, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, one of the signs of excellence of one's worship, one of the signs that you are worshiping Allah good, is thinking well of Allah. That's one of the signs. If you don't think well of Allah, then you're not really worshiping Allah excellent. You're not worshiping Allah good. There is something missing in your worship. Is believing that Allah is going to do good things to you. And in another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ says, let none of you die without having good expectations from Allah. Don't die before having good expectation. If you don't have good expectation when you stand in front of Allah, what do you expect? When we die, we're expecting Allah's mercy when we stand in front of Him, Allah's forgiveness. If you don't expect that, and you're expecting punishment, you will get it. If you're not expecting forgiveness, you're not going to get it. So don't die. That's a important part, that expect good things from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, in Hadith Qudsi, he says, Allah the Exalted has said, O son of Adam, I forgive you as long as you pray to me and hope for my forgiveness. So that's a condition. You have to hope. You have to hope on the forgiveness of Allah. You have to have good thinking of Allah, good expectation of Allah. If you have good expectation, that's one of the conditions for being forgiven, is that you expect Allah will forgive you. And we have examples of that, many examples in the Quran. If you remember in the Quran, when Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam and the children of Israel were escaping from Egypt, and they got to the Red Sea, and behind them, very close behind them, was Pharaoh and his armies. Fir'aun wa junuda. They were way behind them, just right behind them. And logically, the people of Moses, they looked around, the Bani Israel, they looked around and said, we're in trouble. Here is the water, and we don't have ships or anything, and here is the armies of Fir'aun behind us. We have no hope. And the Quran says, قال أصحاب موسى إن لمدركون قال كلا إن معي ربي سيهدين. And look at what it says. The companion of Musa, they said, we are caught. It's true, logically, no hope. Where are you going to go? Water, army, no other place. But look at the answer of Sayyidina Musa. Sayyidina Musa, who has great expectation of Allah, good expectation of Allah, he answered, says, no. He didn't hesitate. He said, maybe, I think. He didn't say that. He said, no. Allah is with me, and He's going to guide me. And look what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did. He parted the sea for them, split the sea, and they crossed in the middle of the sea. If you have that expectation of Allah, Allah may not do a miracle for you, split the sea or anything, but He's going to put in your path people that will change things for you to the better. He's going to guide you, give you the idea, give you the thinking, give you the direction, so you will find the good path and be saved and benefit and succeed. And the Prophet ﷺ, when he immigrated from Mecca to Medina, when he immigrated, he was escaping from the evil people of Medina, the unbeliever. And then they went during the day and went in the mountain and hide in a cave. And hide in a small cave. They hid there. And the unbeliever got to the top of the mountain, next to the door of the cave. And Sayyidina Abu Bakr, radiallahu anhu, the companion of the Prophet, he panicked. He said, if they look down to their feet, they're going to see us. They were next to their feet. And they were standing next to the door, to the opening of the cave. But the Prophet ﷺ, who has great expectation of Allah, he answered saying, what do you think of two? Allah is their third. Look at, he believes in expectation. Logically, they're going to be caught. Logically, common sense, it's going to happen. But when you have expectation, good expectation of Allah, Allah made them not see them. Made the unbeliever cannot see them. They didn't see them. And they escaped. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَيُعَذِّبَ الْمُنَافِقِينَ وَالْمُنَافِقَاتِ وَالْمُشْرِكِينَ وَالْمُشْرِكَاتِ الظَّانِّينَ بِاللَّهِ ظَنَّ السُّوءِ عَلَيْهِمْ دَائِرَةُ السُّوءِ. And Allah will punish the hypocrite, men and women, and the non-believer and the mushrik, the people who associate with Allah, men and women. Look at the only common thing that they have, all of them, one common thing, which is who think evil thought of Allah. They don't have good expectation of Allah. That's the common that they have. They don't believe Allah is going to do anything good for them. And then the Quran says, and they will get evil. That expectation of Allah is nothing good is going to come from Allah. They will get nothing good from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What they expected, they will get. And Allah in the Quran, in a lot of verses, He's telling us, expect good things from me. Hope for good from me. Allah says, وَلَا تَيْأَسُوا مِنْ رَوْحِ اللَّهِ إِنَّهُ لَا يَيْأَسْ مِنْ رَوْحِ اللَّهِ إِلَّا الْقَوْمَ الْكَافِرِينَ. And don't give up hope in the mercy of Allah. Only the non-believer are the one that give up hope in the mercy of Allah. The kafir. The kafir, if you give up hope in Allah, you're a kafir. You don't believe in Allah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمْ إِدْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ. And your Lord said, call upon me, make dua to me, I will answer you. Think good expectation from Allah. Think good of Allah. Expect good. He's going to do it for you. Expect, He's telling us everywhere in the Quran, expect good from me, I'll give you. So it's in your hands. It's in your hands. Expect good, you will get it. Expect bad, you're going to get bad. And Allah says in the Quran, قُلْ يَا عِبَادِيَ الَّذِينَ أَصْرَفُوا عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ لَا تَقْنَطُوا مِنْ رَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ جَمِيعًا. And He says, "O my servant who transgressed on themselves, don't give up. Don't give up hope in the mercy of Allah. Don't give up hope. Allah will forgive all sins, will forgive everything. So don't give up hope. Hope in Allah's goodness." And the Prophet ﷺ told us in a hadith, when you ask Allah in dua, in supplication, be convinced He will answer you. It's not you ask Allah and you say, I think He maybe. You're convinced, you're sure He's going to answer you. Think positive of Allah. Think that He's going to do it. He will do it for you. And what are the negative thoughts of Allah? What does it mean, negative thoughts of Allah? Negative thoughts means you say, oh, look at the circumstances around me. It's very difficult. Look at things. Oh, it's in the hands of such and such. It's my boss who can decide. It's so whoever it is, another person. It's in their hand. It's all of that. Then you don't think positive of Allah, because Allah, everything is in His hand. And if you think He's going to give it to you, He will. If you don't think that, He will not. That person that you think He's never gonna accept, you applied for a job and you think He hates you, He doesn't like you, He's not gonna give you the job. If you believe Allah is gonna give you the job, that person, He's gonna find something in you that you can't even imagine, and He's gonna hire you for whatever reason. Think positive of Allah, think good of Allah. And when we say think good of Allah, in everything in our life, everything. Like if you're doing worship, think positive. Think that Allah is going to be merciful on you. Think that Allah will forgive you. Think that Allah is going to accept your prayer. Allah will answer your dua. That Allah will accept your worship. Allah will guide you to the right path. Allah will help you pray better and be a better Muslim. Everything in your worship, think positive of Allah. And if you look at your personal life, you personally, think positive of Allah. Think, I have health. Allah is going to protect it. I'm not healthy. Allah is going to cure me. Allah is going to give me wealth. Allah is going to give me a good job. Allah is going to give me a good spouse, and they're going to be a good Muslim. Allah is going to give me good children. Allah is going to make my children good Muslims. Think positive of Allah. Think good, and Allah will give it to you. And in the afterlife, think positive of Allah. Think that when I stand in front of Allah, He's going to make my account easy. It's not going to be difficult. Think that Allah is going to send me to Jannah, and not only Jannah, He's going to send me to Firdaus, the best place in Jannah. Think that I'm going to be the neighbor of the Prophet ﷺ. I'm going to be next to him. Think that I'm going to have my family, my friends, all of them will be with me in Jannah. Expect from Allah good things. He will give it to you. Expect it. Ask for it. And believe you're going to get it. He will give it to you. And if you look at it in the 21st century, the same thing that Allah told us 1400 years ago, that's what we're talking about today. You hear commonly people saying positive thinking. And it's like they discovered new technology or something. Positive thinking. That's what we're talking about. That's what Allah is asking you to do. Positive thinking. Positive thinking about Allah. The difference between what they talk about today is people expect positive thinking from yourself, from things like that, from your boss, from whatever. But Allah is asking you to have positive thinking of Him, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you look, there was a study done for all the successful entrepreneurs that made it big, not just a little bit, big. They had one common thing. They had positive thinking. They saw themselves succeeding. They saw themselves, they are going to be the best. They are going to have the biggest company. They are not going to fail and all of that. But the difference, we believe in that in Allah. Because everything is in the hand of Allah, not human beings. There is so many people that work hard, but the end result is in the hand of Allah. There is so many people that started companies like Google and all of those, but how many succeeded? It's all in the hand of Allah. So the difference is we have positive thinking of Allah. We believe that. And even a lot of time, if you look on TV, when there is some of the athletes who are running, doing track and field or swimming or whatever, if you look at them, there was studies done about them. Every one of them, before they start the race, those who achieve greatness, they stand and they are focused. They look at how they are going to achieve. They see themselves running and passing everybody and getting to the final line. They visualize everything. They have positive thinking about themselves and they achieve it. They achieve greatness. So have positive thinking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you will achieve that. There was a person, his name was Abi Ghayath from Mecca. In the early days of Islam, his name Abi Ghayath from Mecca. He's an old person. He was 86 years old. And on the day of Hajj, a person from Khurasan. Khurasan is a place in Iran. He was coming to do Hajj. And that person came and stood on a high place and screamed, loud voice, "O pilgrims, O people of Hajj, I lost a pouch, a small bag, and it has 1,000 dinar. At the time, dinar is like £1,000 today. $1,000 today. So it's a lot, it's a fortune. I lost 1,000 dinar. And whoever finds it, may Allah reward him, bless him, and forgive him, and give him good rewards on the day of judgment." So the man Abu Ghayath, the old man, he said, "O man of Khurasan, what if a good Muslim found that money and give it to you back? We are in difficult time. There is a drought. People are hard. They have hardship. They have difficulty. It's very hard. Why don't you give him a reward?" So he said, "What is the reward?" He said, "Give him 10%, 100 dinar." So the man of Khurasan said, "No, I will not give him anything. And I will put my trust for my money in the hands of Allah. And if that person doesn't give me my money, on the day of judgment, I'll stand in front of Allah and complain to him about that person. And hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakeel. Allah is sufficient for me and I put my trust in him." And he walked away. That person, Abu Ghayath, went home and he called his wife, Lubaba. And he said, "I found the man that owes the money, that owns the money. I found him. And I asked him to give me 10%, 100 dinar, and he refused." So his wife said to him, "We are in difficult time. We are 9 people, my daughters, myself, my sister, my mother, and you, and we have no food, we have no clothes, we have nothing. Maybe we keep 100 and give him the 900, and when Allah, inshallah, will bless us, we'll give him the 100 back." So Abu Ghayath said, "No, I will never take anything haram. I believe in Allah and I trust Allah is going to do good thing for me. No, I'm not going to do that." And then the next day he went there and the man stood and he said, "O people of Hajj, I lost 1,000 dinar. And same thing, may Allah reward him and all of that." So Abu Ghayath stood up and said, "What about if you give him 10 dinar? 1%. The man said, "No. And on the day of judgment, I'll complain to Allah and I'll put my trust in Allah. Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakeel." And the next day, he came, the man. And he stood there and said, "I lost 1,000 dinar. And Abu Ghayath stood up and said, "What about if you give him 1 dinar? So he doesn't do anything haram. He's going to take the 1 dinar, half of it he's going to buy some food for his family, and the other half he buy a goat so he can have milk and sell it and live with it." So the man said, "No, I will not give him and I will complain to Allah and all of that." So Abu Ghayath stood up and pulled the man and said, "Come with me. I have your money. Come with me." So he took the man and went home. And he got home, went inside, took him inside, went inside, got the money, gave it to the man, and said, "This is your money. I'm not going to do anything haram. and I believe Allah is going to do good things for me. Take your money. So the man took the money and got out. When he got to the door, he turned around and came back. And he said, my father died and he left 3,000 dinar. And he ordered me to give 1,000 to the most needy people that I can find. And since I left my country, I couldn't find anybody who's more in need than you. And you're an honest person, and you fear Allah, and you never complain that you're poor. Take the 1,000 dinar, and may Allah bless them for you. Look what Allah does. Wallahi, do your part, and believe that Allah is going to do good things for you, and wallahi, He's going to do good things for you. Believe in Allah, in His goodness, He's going to do it for you. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين استغفروه إنه غفور رحيم.